Hello all, on a ride again today, but what we're going to talk about is what we've been talking about, is how the U.S. is bullying other countries so severely, such as the U.S. bullying North Korea. And why I call it bullying? Well, because they're accusing North Korea of testing missiles and having live fire drills. And then you look at what South Korea is doing with the U.S. They're testing missiles and having live fire drills. Once again, we have serious hypocrisy. And then everything's backwards, because how many countries has the U.S. attacked? Almost every country. How many countries has North Korea attacked? So the U.S. is all about hypocrisy, you know? It just blows my mind, and they do it with such blatancy. This is obviously a ploy for the military-industrial complex, is what this is for. They get to sell huge dud missiles and bombs, like that mother of all bombs. One commenter said it was an airburst. Yeah, I know that's what they're calling it, but the thing is, the place it went off was on sort of like a hillside, a deep valley. It's not a place where people gather and hang out, no matter what kind of people you are. So I sort of suspect it was a hastily thrown together thing by the orange man, who said, quickly, go drop the biggest bomb in Afghanistan so I can get my ratings up and we can get away from this notion of Russiagate, along with all the other gates. So the question has to be, can a nuclear war be won? Well, according to every scientific expert out there, the answer to that is no. But yet this morning, the orange man said that there's going to be major conflicts with North Korea. That can only mean nuclear exchange. Well, now North Korea, of course, is asking other Asian countries to join them against the U.S. So once again, San Francisco's right on the border there, right on the front line of the new war with North Korea, since they have the ability to shoot missiles to the U.S. West Coast. And when they showed their missiles landing in the U.S., it was San Francisco they were landing on. That's why I'm a little concerned about this. As you can imagine, you would be if you lived in the San Francisco Bay Area. And if you do, well, maybe it's time to start digging. Okay, the only other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was CO2 spike that happened the last 3 days. Unfortunately, CO2 is spiking very quickly now. Some theories on that is that the oceans have stopped taking in CO2. They're warm enough and acidified enough to where the ocean doesn't have the ability to take in any more CO2. And so now we're going to see a huge spike in CO2, which means runaway heating. Let's look at the last CO2 count. Now, what else will happen is that when the CO2 keeps going up, plants will no longer work the same way. They'll no longer exhale oxygen. They'll exhale carbon dioxide, CO2. And then they will add to the CO2 problem. The trees and shrubbery and grass all get severely stressed because they can't breathe, and they start shedding leaves and parts of the plant, which then rot and releases more CO2 in the air. This isn't hype or anything. This is fact. It's just the way it is, and that's the way it's going to be. Now, some of you guys follow Paul Beckwith up in Canada. He's a professor up there. I'll put the links down below and you can watch his last 2 videos. He talks all about how you do the math to figure out what the heating's going to be. So the deniers can actually do math and figure out whether global climate change is happening by humans or not. You can actually mathematically figure it out. So I would strongly suggest you go over to Paul's site and watch his videos. Now I know it's confusing, you know, if you're not into science, it's going to be a lot to absorb. It's a science class. It's in the sciences. So, will we see war by next video? Who will do the first strike? Will it be the U.S. on North Korea, or North Korea strike the U.S. first? 2 insane leaders, basically on both having their thumbs on the button. How could have this ever happened? Don't understand. Oh, nature, the way nature is sort of unpredictable at times. This is when the world is now unstabilizing. Both the climate and the people on the planet Earth are all becoming unstable. So I definitely appreciate all the last comments and the new comments and the ups and the downs. And until next time.